Herbert is joining us here on set, our international affairs commentator.
Yeah, morning, Stuart.
Doug, what on earth is going to happen to Navalny now?
Yeah, well, first of all, a reminder of who Navalny is, right? Until he was jailed last year, he's serving a 2.5-year sentence currently. He was really almost the last man standing in terms of opposition in Russia. There's no opposition party, so to speak, but he was it, the most outspoken Kremlin critic, an outspoken critic of Putin himself, whose anti-corruption investigations, watched by millions of people, including Russians, on YouTube, really catapulted him to fame. And also to his prominence as an opposition figure. He was jailed, as you know, last year after surviving a poisoning attempt with a military-grade nerve agent, Novichok, which he blames on the Kremlin. And there's been a lot of investigative evidence pointing to the fact that those are perhaps not very implausible charges, that the Kremlin or someone tied to it, the FSB, very likely was involved. Bellingcat has done an investigation. What are these new charges about? Like charges on top of charges? Well, prosecutors are seeking 13 years. That's why we see these pictures. He's awaiting right now the actual sentencing after being found guilty. 13 extra years of a strict regime in a penal colony. That's what prosecutors are asking for. What? For what they call large-scale fraud and contempt of court charges. Here's the irony. The contempt of court is what? Well, contempt of court includes the fact that he wasn't able to come to court when he was in Germany recovering from the poisoning attempt on his life that I just spoke about. He returned to Russia. Yes, he walked right back into the jaws of the beast, returned to Russia knowing he faced arrest, was arrested and thrown into jail. So you could to say he's a brave man would be an understatement, but he's literally, these charges are, it's hard to consider them as anything but trumped up, a farce of a trial in a sort of kangaroo court. And his political supporters and backers and a lot of Russians have supported that notion.
And of course, as we said, he's been in jail, but he's still been able to speak out a little bit, hasn't he, on Ukraine?
He has. Look, his organizations, his political organization, his anti-corruption organization, they were all branded extremist after he was jailed. They were all shut down. A lot of his associates have been forced to flee the country or sort of have been backed into a corner silent. He continues, people on behalf of him continue to tweet on his behalf, tweets presumably not seen in Russia. He has basically called on people in his speeches given in court. He has called on people to denounce the Ukraine war and invasion and called on people to join the protests. So he is very firmly in the no to war camp, which obviously, as we know, under Russia's new censorship laws, give you up to 15 years in jail. His spokeswoman basically, asked so how long can we expect his sentence to be? How long will he remain in jail, right? 13 years potentially, plus a 1.2 million ruble fine, which is over $10,000 if you convert it. She says his time in jail depends on how long Putin is in power. That really goes to the heart of what we were talking about. He'll continue to speak out, but he'll have to be doing so in jail as long as Putin is there, because this trial is seen as nothing really by most people, as trumped up charges, politically motivated, if ever there was a politically motivated trial against a critic that Putin does take seriously and wants to absolutely remove from the scene as any vital threat to him politically.